Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, Micah Let's Play, and guess who I am? I'm Micah, because who else would I be? Yes, this is part 2 of the first episode where I didn't have any audio. But there is background audio, it's just, for some reason, my mic wasn't recording my voice, just in case you missed that previous episode. Now, what I'm talking about right here is this headband I picked up, the headband of the intellect I picked up, which Lump the Enlightened had on his person. And if you read his diary, you learn how he came across this headband, which Clementis is now wearing. And trust me, it is something you want to have. And so basically I was talking about my outfit and everything, and I'm getting ready to end the day because like I said, we just had that fight. And I was coming back to the camp so everyone could get a full rest because I think I exhausted quite a few of my spells. So yeah. So I'm going to end the day, and this next section of video was literally, it came out of the blue. I didn't realize that this was going to happen in the previous episode. Oh, I just want you guys to see. I put Karlach in Shadowheart's outfit, and she looks scrumptious. Oh my god, that thick-thighed heifer. She's so gorgeous. I loved Karlach. And then I put Karlach in Lae'zel's outfit, and I was like, oh, look at you. I was like, all right, Clementis is seen. So I'm trying to make everybody cute and sexy. And I saw that Gale wanted to talk. So I went back over here to show that unfortunately Will is still wearing that, but we're gonna fix it. Now this next section with Gale literally came as a surprise to me. So I'll explain as you guys watch. I think I chose Bard. Mystra. I chose the second. I chose the second one because I was so surprised to see this cutscene right here because I didn't know where it was going. And then also I noticed Mystra was wearing the same tiara of that same headband of the intellect. So I'm like, interesting. At first I was just gonna say pretty, but I was just like, no, let me do the Bard thing, So yeah, so that's the answer I think I end up going with. I was trying to figure out my life. Yes. So Mystra, your matron of magic herself, an ambitious desire to hold her in your hand. So that's basically what I say to her.
Oh. My, you startled me. I was miles away.
And yes, I'm totally wearing Karlach's pants. So, care to tell me why you were conjuring an image of the goddess?
No special reason, really. I was just practicing an incantation.
And I knew that was utter bull. So I use insight to learn more about. I said, there's more to that. You were conjuring her in a way I can hardly fathom. So that's why I went ahead and went with that option so I can use insight to learn more about the situation. And I was very surprised with the result. Once I figure out my life. And I didn't know if I was gonna succeed here. I was like, oh my god. I was like, proficiency. I'm like, please work for me. Yes. And it was a 12. I was so happy with my proficiency +2. I'm like, yes. Insight, baby.
What can I say? She's Mystra. I can't quite describe it. The need I sometimes feel to see her. To draw the filaments of fantasy into existence. No sculpture or painting could ever do her justice. Only the fabric that she herself is and embodies. The weave. Mystra is all magic. As far as I'm concerned, she is all creation.
Now, what I was really saying right here, I was telling a joke. That face I'm giving right there, I'm like, is Mistra a sister? Is she a sister? Because there's only one kind of sister I know who's mistress of the weave. I'm just saying. So what I say is, I didn't realize the depth of your devotion. So that's the one I chose when I was talking to him. But yeah, I was making a sister with a weave joke. And then I was like, where's the black response? You know, the Bard response, the cleric response, they need a black response. I'm just putting it out there so we black folks can have a funny answer. I'm just kidding, no. But yeah, and also I was seeing, Clementis was seeing how he kind of seemed like he was longing for her.
Magic is my life. I've been in touch with the weave for as long as I can remember. There's nothing like it. It's like music, poetry, physical beauty, all rolled into one and given expression through the senses. Is it the same for you?
I was surprised with when he said, "Is it the same for you?" Now, this answer here, the Bard answer, where it says music and magic is music, poetry and beauty. Though I suspect that you and I perform it differently. Now, for Clementis as a character, those words, magic is music is magic. I mean, magic is music, or however you want to word it, is actually it's an important element of his actual character outside of this campaign this game I'm playing. So yeah, so when I saw that, I was like, wow, what a really cool response to have for this character. Now, if you understand, when you this first incarnation of this character, when I played him in a tabletop game, that's why that little statement to me was so relevant.
Fair enough. Though in the end, we're still playing the same composition.
True.
Perhaps I can show you what I mean by reaching into the weave together.
And I was like, by all means. I was like, okay, cool. I was excited.
And follow my lead.
And then I was noticing the way they were looking at each other. I'm like, them looks look sus, you know? But that was pretty cool, though. I like that. And, yeah, so when I saw it, I said, oh, I like how...
Now you.
I like the way Clementis' face looks. So I was like, oh, he looks so cute. So I was like, oh, okay, so I think I chose Sleight of Hand because I have proficiency in that. Even though there's Bard, Arcana, and Performance, but I think my highest score was in Sleight of Hand. So I think that's how I did this, but I don't really remember. Okay, yeah, it looks like I went with that. Or maybe I did use Arcana. I don't know. Well, let's just see. I'm right here trying to figure out my life choices. Oh, yes. Okay. So I did use Sleight of Hand. And as you can see, I have a proficiency in Sleight of Hand and Dexterity. So I got a 2. But with those bonuses, I got a 6. So it worked out for me. Oh, my God. That was hilarious. And yes, I am wearing Carlax's pants, and Clementis looks delicious in them. And look how he looks. He looks so excited. He's like, ooh.
You feel something strange, like a kind word and a kind touch at the same time. It's warm and comfortable.
Excellent. Now, repeat after me. Athran Mistraril Kantrak Eo.
Now, when I saw this, I said, oh, I can do Performance, I can do Bard, or I could do Arcana or Bard Performance. And I think the one I chose here, I think I chose either Intelligence or Arcana. I don't remember which one I did, but I was laughing how it says, have a flourish on Ayo, you know, so I was like, oh, that's pretty cute. So I think I used this, and I think because I have that headband on, it gives me a bonus with this roll. So that's why I was considering Intelligence over everything else, because I'm like, maybe this might give me a bonus, you know. And as you can see, it's right there on screen. It gave me a +2, so I was like, oh my God, please don't fail. And I got a 16. And with those bonuses, look, it turned it into a 20. So I was like, oh yeah, I crushed this.
Suddenly, the scent of rosewater and a sense of well-being. A sliver of weave that tastes sweet on the tongue.
Very good. Now, I want you to picture in your mind the concept of harmony, as true as you can.
So here, what I chose for Clementis was insight again. Oh, no. Yeah, it's insight is what I chose. It said recall a memory of your early youth, a happy family moment. So right here is where I was kind of explaining more about Clementis's background, where Stormy and Matilda were his family when he grew up in the out in Arbel. That was his family, and he had good times with them. So I think that's why I chose it. And again, that headband came in the clutch, because look at that. I got a 7, which wasn't too bad. So I was like, okay. And I was getting more and more curious about where this was going, especially with how the guys were looking at each other. So watch this.
You see, or is it sense, the presence of a woman. The woman who hovered over Gale's palm. There's something like the anticipation of a kiss, then the pleasure of being cloaked in peace. You are safe. You are nestled in the cup of Mystra's hand.
You did it! You're channeling the weave. How does it feel?
And I think I went with magical sensual even, because I was so surprised to see it going in this direction. I was like, well, let's just see what happens. I said magical, sensual even. So let's see what happens next. I was so surprised with this. This was not where I was expecting Clementis' story to go, to be honest with you guys. And even here, that's why I'm like, okay, let's go with this answer. Once I figure my life out. And then also, his opinion of Gale had changed at this point, especially after giving him the magical artifact and being around him.
That it does.
The weave connects you. The moment feels intimate.
And when I saw the option 1, it said hold the moment, it's a good night for intimacy, I was like, wait, what? I was so thrown off by this. I was like, you know what? I was like, Clementis is a virgin. That's how I'm playing his character. So yeah, he would envision something like this. Because, Gale is not an ugly man. Gale is showing himself to be nice and a gentleman. And Clementis is starting to like him. So... why not? I mean, why not take a leap of faith and see where this takes me? But again, this was never my original intention to make him a romance option. My choices are actual, Will, Astarion, Lae'zel, Karlach, and of course, a later on party member. So I was kind of shocked that the story was going in this direction. So this was a surprise, a pleasant surprise, but a surprise nonetheless.
You realize the weave is making you one. You have but to imagine your desire, and Gale will know it.
So I was like, really? So I went ahead and said, picture kissing him with tenderness, then with passion. Because again, he's, Clementis is inexperienced. He doesn't know a lot about intimacy in that way. Not that those opportunities never presented themselves as, when he was living with Sloane in his backstory. So I said, being a young, inexperienced man, you got this handsome, man in front of you. That's the image that popped into his head. And let's see where this goes. That was my goal. Let's see what happens.
I didn't think.
You perceive quick-fire gusts of embarrassment, trepidation, and finally... elation.
Sorry, I wasn't expecting... But it is a pleasant image, to be sure. Most pleasant, in fact. Most welcome.
The weave evaporates. And as it does so, you realize the night feels suddenly cold and lonesome.
Oh. There it goes. How easily things slip away from us, no matter how hard they were in the obtaining. Good night. I enjoyed sharing a moment of magic with you.
So when that happened, I was really shocked. I was really shocked. I was not expecting that at all. I was like, wait, what? So then I was like, I want to talk to Will. So Clementis is on fire now.
Gale slurped that thing up like a horse with a carrot. I hope he got what he needed from it.
So I think this here, I think I said, I think I went with the answer is you should get out of this pack or something. Yeah, that's what I went with.
A possibility that's kept me awake countless nights. But I don't have a clue where to start, other than play her games and play by the rules. That's the only language devils listen to.
And then here, I think I said, can't we just, yeah, I think I went with the third option. Yeah, there must be a loophole to let you out of the contract. And I was so surprised that Will approved that I was trying to say, get him out of the contract. So I was like, what? Like, oh my God, he approved it. Cause at first I thought he would be angry. So I was very surprised. So then I was like, there must be a way to get a loophole to get you out of this, you know?
There could well be. She has the blighted thing. What I know of it is simply what has engraved itself upon my memory. My contract is very clear. I can bring Mizora no harm. She'll have to let me out of my pact willingly. The only way out is if I can out-bargain her. We're standing here with nothing but the clothes on our backs and the worms in our heads.
And when he said the worm thing, I was like, we can beat her if we put our worms together. So I was like, why not?
We can. I'm sure of it. How glad I am that you see me as more than my patron's pet.
And I was like, oh, Clementis is now like, he's seething with desire now. So I'm like, well, might as well talk to another character Clementis likes.
Speak.
And I was like, oh, I was like, you know what? Now's a good time. You look unusual. Githyanki are rare in these parts.
I expect I am your first.
And he said, I think I chose... I know of Githyanki, but I've never met one. So I think that's what I chose for him. To make it more like, you know, on his travels, he's never met a Githyanki, but he's aware of them. He's aware of their existence.
Of course you haven't. They would have cut you from navel to neck. You are no less alien to me than I am to you. I know of your kind, but I do not often encounter them. That large, fleshy nose of yours looks like a mistake.
And I think I went with, really? Thanks for noticing.
It was an observation, not a compliment.
Love her.
No matter. I do not intend to stay long in this place.
And I think, yeah, that I left her. Yeah, Clementis was like, well, you know, well, shit, you know, it was fun talking to everybody. And then I said, oh, let me talk to Karlach.
I like Gale, but I'm keeping all my good gear well out of sight. Everything fancy he touches meets a grisly end.
So I was like, oh, okay. I think
Yeah?
Yeah, I think I wanted to ask her a question. So I said, so how did you come to fight in the Blood Wars or something? And I think she says, wait, what did I choose actually? Or maybe I didn't choose anything. I don't remember. Oh.
Yeah. Let's go straight there. Whatever those fucks are getting up to, it's nothing good. Just to say, by the way, they're not really paladins. Lackeys of the Archdevil playing dress-up as paladins of Tyr. No honor among devils.
So yeah, so after that I said, oh, let me talk to Shadowheart. Let me just talk to everybody.
Shah's blessings upon you.
I think I asked the question, I want to talk to you about S.T.A.R.R?
I'm sure you do. But please try to understand that it's not something I can just talk about freely.
And then here, oh.
Fine. Just keep out of matters that don't concern you.
Yeah, I was shocked at her response. I was like, my apologies, you know? So I was shocked. So what did I choose here, though? I think I might have left the conversation. Or maybe I did use this. Yeah, I have no problem with the S.T.A.R.R worshiper, if that was your concern. You know, so if that's what concerns you. So I think that's what I did to try to smooth things over with her, because I didn't want conflict with Shadowheart. Yeah, I think that's what I chose. Now, mind you, I recorded this, like, this recording was a while back, so that's why a lot of this is guesswork on what my choices were. But luckily, I got a 12.
Very well. Perhaps there's potential in you. Let's see how you handle this. I am indeed a disciple of S.T.A.R.R, Mistress of the Night and Lady of Loss. I assume you've heard of her?
And I think I said, yeah, I think I said, honestly, your faith is your own concern. I won't judge you one way or the other. And I was surprised to see that Shadowheart was approving. Because at first I thought she would be like, oh, like, why are you asking, like, you know, why are you asking all these questions? But when I saw her approval, I was like, oh, maybe she does like that I'm interested in her personally. So that's why I was like, oh, maybe I should have changed my approach to how I interact with her.
Curious. Most are afraid of my lady. I think I did well by joining you. Most agreeable company.
I was so surprised with that. I was like, oh. And I think I leave. Yeah, because I didn't want to ask too many more questions. But, you know, Clementis was like, I see you, Shadowheart. I see you. You know, I was like, she cute, you know? Like, Clementis ain't blind. Like I said, she's a very beautiful woman. And then I think I talked to Astarion.
Yes?
And I was saying, oh, you can feed on me tonight if you like.
My sweet, there is nothing I'd like more. I'll come to you tonight, when you're snugly wrapped in your bedroll, and we can have a little privacy. And this time, I'll make sure I'm quiet. We don't want to disturb your rest. Later on, when we are at rest, I will eat you right up. Just enough to give me strength, and just enough to leave you wishing for more.
I love it. I think Clementis is like, yes, I want more. And I'm like, first he got stimulated by Gale, and then Will, and Lae'zel, and, you know, Karlach and Shadowheart. I said, right now, he's like, yeah, it's time for bed. It's time for bed. I need to lay the fuck down. You know, because he is stimulated by everybody. Again, oh, and this here, yeah, you got to be very careful with your supplies, because if you don't do it just right, if you try to auto-sort, sometimes it'll overcount. So that's why I was trying to adjust it. And I was like, oh, no cutscene. Okay, cool beans. But yeah, that was an interesting camp conversation. A lot of stimulation was going on. Oh my glob. Now I'm trying to remember what I did next here. Yeah, I think I cast Speak with Animals. I think. Yeah. I did it so I could have like, you know, all of my spells prepared, because I know I just fought the goblins, and I think there was more I was doing.
Pride of the Gate.
Yes, Pride of the Gate, and I think I cast mage armor on him, or I think I was trying to find it, and I'm like, wait, where's this mage armor? I don't have mage armor. So I was like, oh fuck, maybe I made a mistake. But what I didn't realize was this armor right here, if you cast it, it lasts for a while until he's hit, and it actually has like a counter reaction. One, it looks cool as fuck. And again, I love the fact that each character has their own style of animation. And then I also cast Speak with Animals on her as well, because Clementis and her can both speak with animals. Now with...
No time to rest.
Now with Shadowheart, I don't think I needed to do anything with her. So now what I was doing, I was going back to the village. Yeah, I was going back to the Brightlit village or something like that. So now I can go in that cellar and like clear out everything there. Now, the other thing I don't do, now this section of video, I'm gonna be honest with you guys, I was doing a lot of pickup, so I'm speeding past a lot of this, so I could grab as much shit as possible. I think I grab a few books. Yeah, I grab a few books, I read them. Yeah, I think this book right here. So this says, and I quote, "This ledger is filled with conventional instructions for a range of medicinal plants. One entry is underlined, deliver special request plants to the cellar. Keep away from prying eyes." So after I read that, I was like, ooh.
It says there's a cellar here somewhere.
I don't see one.
Yeah, so now I go back on my, like, picking, and then I accidentally talked to Karlach. I was like, oh shit, I didn't mean to talk to you, Karlach. I was so busy trying to pick up everything, and then I saw that cellar door. I said, oh, so that's what they're talking about. So yeah, I'm picking up everything. I'm like, you know, turning on all the lights. It's a whole thing. And the reason why, like I said, since you can't hear my dialogue of what I'm actually talking about, which I don't remember what I was talking about, and I thought it might be boring to sit there and watch me pick everything up, then I thought it'd be fun to watch me just speed past through this section as I struggle to pick up everything. Like I said before, my precision with the analog stick isn't as good as with the D-pad. So again, if you're playing this on PlayStation, the D-pad is just to go left and right, and the, you know, and of course, you know, the left and right dual thumbsticks are to rotate everything. And if your precision is like mine, which isn't good, I struggle with it. So yeah, I end up talking to Karlach again. I'm like, Karlach, I'm so sorry. I'm not trying to talk to you right now, beautiful. I'm trying to pick shit up. And then I realized there was a bottle behind the wall, which I couldn't get. So I was like, oh, damn it. So I go back on my tirade. I think I find another book here. So hold on. Yeah, I was surprised to see this book. In this year 950 DR, there can hardly be a more prosperous and fortunate town than Philidine. Philidiniers' pack has brought prosperity to the land, splitting the wonders of Wave Echo Cave between gnomes and dwarves. The town has boasted thrive communities of both people living and working together in harmony. We have also tempered human spellweavers from all across the north to our town, who are happy to work side by side with the allies of Philidiniers' pack. Mayor Ardeleaf invites you to come and witness the miracle yourself, see the power become uncovered in the forge of spells, and see the prosperity this power brings. I dare say Neverwinter will soon have a rival for Jewel of the North. So yeah, so I was like, oh, okay, cool. So I was more and more curious. I found the really cool hat for Gale, and then I got stuck behind the mirror. I was like, oh shit. I was like, I need you guys to move so I can continue on my my hunt for things. And I think I become encumbered or I get close to it. So I was like, oh shit, let me have Karlach pick shit up. And you know, and so with her picking everything up, it made my life easier. And then I found this, and this was basically like a little bit of like a Selûnite guide and all this other stuff. So I was like, Kelivor the Judge. I'm like, oh, are these lists of gods, you know, like deities that people worship? And then back to my looting this apothecary to no end. And I think now after I get a few more things, I go into the cellar. And largely, this is going to be more of the same. I'm going to be finding shit. When I run across a book, I will read the book for you. Like, I'll read it out loud like I did with the others. But largely here it's the same. I'm just going to be picking up everything. So enjoy this music until I come across a book.
might be worth a look.
Oh yeah, inside. I forgot about the inside. Now, back to the music. This small recipe has helped me through a lot. Without my scales, my hide smarts and tears with the slightest touch. While it has never fully healed, every drop soothes. I hope it might similarly soothe whatever ails you. Someone has filled the rest of the page with repetition of why is it always healing potions, this god's damn primitive village, and the occasional same day I'll kill that mongrel of a master. Luckily, this recipe itself is still legible. Recipe for 1 healing potion. Extracts needed. Salt of rogue's morsel. Suspension of moorgrass. Method. Stir the suspension until a vortex forms. Carefully tip in the salts. Keep stirring until the salt dissolves into a solution that takes on a reddish hue. And keep in mind, when in doubt with alchemy, just recall the rule of 3. Thrice the same ingredient forms an extract excellent. And it was so funny because I think I picked up one book and I thought I was reading the same book, but I think those are 2 different books because one was regarding a dragon and the other one was regarding a I guess the necromancer that was in this village, and he was like, why the goddamn so many healing potions? So that's why I was laughing when I was reading it. But anywho, again, enjoy the music as I continue to loot everything within this cellar. And again, if you are looking for money, I'm telling you, pick up everything you can get because trust me, the end results are very worth it. Oh, and I think one of the potions I picked up was actually a poison. You'll see when I discover the truth. Okay, now here's when I was done. I think I picked up everything. So then I was like, okay, so there was this, thing that Clementis found. So I was like, ooh, let me quick save because I didn't know what the hell to encounter when I came into this area. I think I forgot to pick up a bottle. So once I quick saved, I started picking up, more stuff. And I was like, ooh, I got a new something to use. So it was like a boon cap or something. I think that's what it's called. I'm not really paying attention to the screen. I'm more like just watching as you're watching. And then I was like, okay, what is this area? And then I saw coffins and I was like, and then the game saved right here. I was like, oh yeah, no, I don't give a damn. I'm gonna re-quick save because I didn't know what to expect. And like I said, this is Tactician. Things are a lot harder. So I didn't know what to expect. So I was just kind of like, okay, what's all of this? So I was like, all right, so I'm just gonna pick this up here. I was like, ooh, I got another potion ingredient. So I was like, okay, cool. So then I ran across this book and discovered that. And I was like, oh, this is another one of those books about God. So I'm like, okay, let me pick everything up here. And I think I was trying to avoid being over encumbered, but I think I accidentally become over encumbered at some point. And then I see that book and I'm like, oh, I'll pick that up and I'll read it later. Yeah. I think that's what I was doing. And I was struggling with the analog stick. So I was like, oh, I think this one is 2. So I just pick it up. I was like, I'll read that later. Because I think there's like 5 or 6 of those books. And yeah, all I'm doing here is lighting up candles. I'm exploring. I'm afraid to open the coffins because I see so many, especially after learning this was a necromancer's, well, I think is it here I learned? Or was it somewhere else I learned? Somewhere, at some point, I discovered that this place was a necromancer's lair. So I was like, oh, okay. But I saw the tombs. So I was like, are these vampires? Will I be fighting the undead? So I was like, I don't want to fuck with this too much. And I think, yeah, I start picking up stuff in here. And I think, yeah. And then I'm like, oh, these things right here, these little glowing bottles of flames. I forgot what you actually call them. Yeah, those that alchemy fire. Oh my God, pick that up. And then I was like, all right, let me get brave. Let me just open one. Let me just see what is inside. And yeah, I think I go to this one. And what I discovered is like, oh, you get a little, I think it's called a queset, a queset or something. And I'm like, what? I was like, a familiar. So, you know, I was like, wait, I want to read what this is. And then I was like, oh, I can summon a familiar? I was so excited. So I summoned it, and this.
Oh, shit-pilling toe rag. Never summon Shovel, never feed Shovel, now call Shovel.
The stench of sulfur fills your nose.
Wait, you're not Illy?
I'm like, Illy? Who's Illy?
My master. Tall, skinny, prick with ears. So, you're Shovel's master now. Fine.
I was like, what? This thing is hilarious. So I was like, your name is Shovel? Like, I remember doing that.
Master Illy calls me Shovel. Don't like it? Change it.
And then I was like, what would you like to be called? I think
Don't
that's...
care.
Oh, there you go. That's your answer. So I was like, Shovel is fine.
So, what first, Master? Gutting locals? Raising the dead? Making them walk? Making them scream?
That's when I realized, oh my God, this is a necromancer's lair. And I think, yeah, is that what your old master did?
Yes. Steal bodies, tear them, then Illy puts them back together. Again and again. When he wasn't horny for the book. Oh, book this, book that. He loves the book.
And I was like, book? What book? Because my curiosity was now piqued.
Oh, Master should go see. Talk to the mirror, and remember, Balsam, good for burns.
Now, I remember in that Balsam was not good for burns. That's why I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't sound right. I was like, because I was reading the books, and I couldn't remember which one the book was. I was like, no, it's not the alchemy book. I was like, one of these books. So I was kind of skimming through the books, trying to see where it mentioned balsam was good for burns. And I'm like, that doesn't sound right. You know what I mean? So again, if you're playing this game and you are, you know, like looking for it, I'm gonna tell you right here, right now, don't go with balsam is good for burns. That's all I'm gonna say, you know, because you'll find out the hard way. But luckily, I did not find out the hard way. After I played this section, because I was like, wait, something about this isn't right. So I was like, healer's log. So I was like, no. So then I think it's here is when I discovered that it wasn't balsam for burns. I think it's for wounds. They use balsam to clean wounds. And I was like, ah. And so this is just basically talking about patients and their descriptions and all that stuff. And I'm like, oh. So balsam, I believe here, I don't think I really discovered it. But yeah, that's what I discovered. Balsam is good for wounds, not burns. So I was like, wait, it's in one of these books. I don't remember which one I picked up, but I know for sure it's in one of the books. And I think, yeah, I'm just trying to find where this book was. So I'm like, okay. So I was like, okay, balsam is good for burns. Then I was like, all right, let me open these coffins. And this is what I discovered. You get surprised as an undead jumps out, and it hit, I believe it shot Karlak or something, yeah. No, it shot Will. And look, if you don't catch these things in time, they will open up every fucking coffin. So this is why I use Shovel to cast Fright, and I didn't know if it would work to scare this thing.
It's your trouser holes. Shovel is here.
Right?
Battle favors the fearless.
It does, Will. So since I knew they were focusing on Will, I'm like, Will, let me get you further away from everybody. Keep my little sexy warlock protected. So what I think I was using was Hex, of course. If you combine Hex with Eldritch Blast, it is a perfect combination. So what I was trying to do was hinder its mobility, or yeah, that's why I think I went after Dexterity. And then if you do Eldritch Blast, I also was trying to keep it from healing because I didn't know if they could heal themselves. So I was like, good, okay, I gave it Bone Chill, and Bone Chill is also a really powerful spell. So yeah, so I was like trying to get Will to cover, and then I was like, oh wait, the undead? I was like, I think her magic works best on the undead. So I'm like, radiant damage all the way. Here we go, guys. Look at that shit. Guided Bolt is another excellent bit of magic. And I think I cast Shield of Faith on Clementis because he was right there. You know, because I knew I could get Will to safety, but Clementis was still out in the open. You know, so I was like, okay. And then also, I'm going to respec Clementis in the future because I'm still trying to find wild magic. Oh, and look at this. I use this. I love it. It's the Pox Nun. But when I realized I couldn't do anything, and I was like, oh, well, maybe let me cast, you know, Bardic Inspiration on Karlach so I can make sure she lands her rolls. I gave her a buff. So I was like, okay, but look, he's frightened, so he won't move. And look, cutting words made him miss. I'm like, good. Okay, Karlach, let's fuck these people up. Again, Karlach, if you play as a barbarian or warrior, so worth it. So worth it. These characters are so cool. And when I realized I couldn't do anything else, I think I just shoved him. No, I didn't. And see, I knew it. And look, watch this. He woke up another one. So that's when I realized, oh my God, I need to get Shovel over there to kind of help, but I need Karlach to get those two under control. So I think I use, yeah, I think on this one, I was like, no, Will, stay away, because he's frightened, so he's not gonna move. So again, even though, and look, a critical miss, and I was like, remember, on Tactician, the enemies dodge even more than usual. And I think here I use Sacred Flame. Oh no, I didn't. Maybe I used Fireball. Oh yeah, no, one of these I use to hit the undead because he was frightened. So I'm like, get him, Shadowheart. But then they saved. I was like, damn it. And so I was like, okay, Shadowheart, get over there to prevent these two from leaving. And I think this is when I said, oh, let me use Dissonant Whispers again because he's already frightened. You know, let's just try it and see. And this is why I like Dissonant Whispers more than Vicious Mockery. He's down. And that helped me defeat the ogres. So I'm like, okay, so I'm gonna try to come up high, you know, and, you know, work my way around. But what I should have done, real talk, because they were right there next to each other, I should have just did, you know, Cloud of Daggers right there. But because I moved in so close with Karlach, I didn't want to hurt her. And I was like, oh, I don't have enough movement. So I'm like, all right, Karlach, shoot with an arrow. I had advantage, but, you know, he still dodged out of the way. I'm like, what? Like, you still dodge? I was so irritated. So I'm like, okay, whatever. And then he hit her with that, and I'm like, what? So I'm like, wait, where is he going? And I'm like, oh, I'm glad she saved from that. So then I was like, okay, Shovel, get over there and, you know, fuck this dude up. So I'm like, so they don't open no more coffins, because look, now you got a whole nother problem happening. And I kept Will in the back. Because nobody's gonna hurt my sexy warlock. Not on my watch. So then I was like, if they dodge my Eldritch Blast, I'll be vulnerable again, so let me use an arrow. and it worked. So I was like, okay, only thing I had now was finesse, and I was like, let me not tempt fate. Will, go back to your corner. Back to the shadows with you, Will.
Let's finish this.
And then here, again, Shadowheart is really good against these enemies. So, you know, even though he dodged out of the way, and I think I healed Karlach, even though she didn't really need it, but I didn't want to, oh no, I jumped. That's what I did, trying to get closer.
Nothing important is ever easy.
And then I messed up. And I think here, do I do Dissonant Whispers again? I think, I was thinking Cloud of Daggers, but I'm like, no, I'll hit my allies. So I'm like, damn it, why didn't I think of this before? So I think, again, I use Dissonant Whispers or something. Because I'm like, I need these enemies to die because I need them not to continue waking up others. So I was like, which one had the least amount of health? And look at that. Right. And I think I did Flourish on this guy, and I think I missed. Oh, no. Yeah, I missed. I was like, what? So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to play some music. Give Karlach the power. You know, let my girl know I'm giving her all the power. And here is when I discovered the horrible truth that one of the potions I had was actually a poison. And I'm like, really? She didn't take that much? So whatever he hit her with, I think it affected her strength. That's why she only took one, and yeah, that was a poison. If it's separated from the healing potions, don't drink it. It was poison. I was like, damn it, I'm further hurting my girl. Luckily, he missed. And I was like, you bitch, you stabbed me and fucked up my music. I'm like, no, Shovel. I was like, oh, Shovel, you missed. How could you, Shovel? Yeah, so I think I did like strength or constitution again or something like that I used on them. Lovely. And I think this time I'm able to hit him or something, if my memory serves correctly. Yeah, like again, look at that. This brother is a beast. There you go, handsome. And now again with Shadowheart, I was trying to jump over there so I can do afflicting wounds on that guy on the stairs, but it didn't matter. And look, she missed, and that would have definitely killed him. So this is why I end up healing Karlach, because that poison really affected her. But what I should have done was, I think, cure wounds, because I think that gets rid of poison, not healing word. But, you know, it is what it is. And I think here, I did Thunder Wave, but then I realized I was going to hit Karlach, and I'm like, do I risk it? Do I risk it? She's at full health, so I risked it, but I managed to hit one and knock him out of my face, and to make up for it, I'm like, Karlach, I'm so sorry, beautiful. That's to make up for hitting you. Yeah, I didn't. I realized friendly fire is on, so I don't know how to, you know, stop that, because that means I'll hit. Yeah, I'll hit my friends in the future. So yeah, when I saw that, I was like, okay, cool. So I figured in the other coffins there are other undead, so I highly recommend, guys, if you can corner them. Yeah, I become encumbered, and I think I use poor Karlach as land development. So I basically just get anything that's, you know, that's like kind of heavy or adds weight to Clementis, because again, he's not a very strong boy. And I'm like, okay, Karlach, even though I hit you in combat, you were poisoned. This is why she don't like his ass that much. Can you carry all this stuff for me? And she's like, bruh. But, you know, because she's cute and she's sweet, she did it for me. And I think I gave her all of this stuff. And I'm like, Karlach, use those sexy muscles, mama. So I think after I loot everything here, I make my way over to the mirror. Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, let me not open these other coffins. So what I was doing, I quick saved again because I'm like, if I accidentally do something where I end up dying, I don't want to have to do that fight over again. So yeah, so I end up, you know, instead of learning my lesson and, you know, not picking up everything, I pick up everything, and of course I light a candle, because in case y'all didn't know, Baldur's Gate 3 is a candle lighting simulator for all of us with OCD and we just have to light every candle. Yes, we have to light every candle and we have to pick up everything. I'm one of those players. I'm so sorry. It is just, I don't know, I get a happy sensation when I pick everything up, or I do everything in an area because it makes me feel like everything is complete. Now, yeah, here's when it comes to the mirror. So pay attention to what I say to this mirror, because I think it, yeah, had I got this wrong, I think the results could have been bad. So I think here I just tell her my name. I tell the mirror my name or something like that. Versus saying the half elf, you know, I just make up an elven name. That's what I was laughing at. And then I'm like, oh no, I'm not gonna insult this mirror because I think it'll hurt me. Because I noticed, because it seemed like the way the voice seemed.
I do not know this name. If you are known to my master, step forward and declare yourself an ally.
Yeah, so I said, know what, let me just play along and declare myself an ally. I said, yes, I'm an ally of your master.
Only a true ally of Ilintoth may pass. What think you of the Zolkir known as Zastam?
You remember stories of Zastam, a powerful lich in Thay who made deals with dark gods.
So I was like, oh, so I went the second option because I said, oh, he deserves 1,000 deaths. I thought 1,000 more deaths. So
you are no Zolkir, but are you wise? Tell me, why might one use balsam ointment?
see, that's what I said. I knew, and then that first answer, I read in a doctor's journal, he used it to clean wounds. That is your answer. Yeah, that's why I'm reacting the way I'm reacting.
Acceptable. Finally. If you could see anything in me, what would it be?
Honestly, here, I just chose the most honest answer. You know, I'm looking for whatever spell that will rid me of the worm in my head. You know, I was thinking, ooh, I want to see the ones I love. But I'm like, no, let me be honest. This is why he's here. He's looking for a cure. So be honest. You know, I'm looking for any spell that will help me get rid of the worm in my head. So I don't know what happens if you answer differently. Yeah, that's what I was like explaining. Figuring out my life.
You seek to survive. You seek power.
Mm-hmm.
Be welcome.
And I was like, oh, thank God. Because I didn't know. I really don't know what happens.
Laboratory. What were they hiding down here?
Yeah. So I really don't know what happens if you get those answers wrong. I don't know if the rest of the bodies wake up or, you know what I'm saying? Or if it's like an insta-death.
Soldier?
So I accidentally spoke to Karlak again. I'm so sorry. And I think I eventually, once I kind of like get lay of the land, I basically just speed things up because it's really just going to be more of me picking up stuff. And again, do you guys really want to sit there and watch me like pick up everything and struggle to pick up shit like right now? I think I just speed past this. The book is filled with pages and pages of observation, tracking travelers and people in the village. You turn to the final pages. 26 aliases. Olive Sage, merchant, arrived in Moonhaven departs next day. Kalashai, 7 Elian, stranger, name unknown, pass through, not Thayan. Rashimi, 14 Marthana, 3 men in black armor, pass through, not Thayan. Yuktar, Hackett, journeyman, pass through, not Thayan. 30 Uktar, raid, black armored soldiers, some damage, not Thayan, but dangerous. 14 Nightthal, the book's gem has gone missing. Familiar ordered to watch my apprentice. 14 Nightthal, sage pass through, doesn't stop. 15 Nightthal, familiar reports apprentice disappearing near well, will observe. 18 Nightthal, raid, same soldiers as before, townsfolk taken. 20 Nightthal, smoke on the horizon, raid. You turn page after page filled with strange alchemical sketches and formulas. Some are written plainly, and some in runes and scripts you barely recognize. There are guides to transmutating metals and recipes for weapons of war. But more than anything else, the book's concerned with reanimating dead flesh. Now, those 2 books I picked up, one basically remind me of the Necronomicon in Evil Dead, and the other book was like a ledger that basically just kept track of everybody who was coming in and out of the town. So I was like, interesting, and I noticed that wall there. But again, it's just more of me picking up shit. I don't think there's any more books in here. So enjoy the music you've been listening to. That is from the amazing anime show called Witch Hunter Robin. Enjoy. Raised dead, failed. Gone too long, body decomposed. Reanimated, failed. Came back as ghoul, had to kill again. Spoke with dead, failed. Answers unuseful. Clone, failed. Needs living tissue. Reanimated plus clone, failed. How to kill both ghouls. Resurrection, failed. Why? Magical curse? True resurrection. I have reached the limit of my skills and resources. The book offers help. Dare I accept? Okay, guys. When I saw that I failed this spot check, I'm like, wait, how did I fail? So I was like, okay, wait, everybody's failing this spot check? So I was like,
This'll be fun.
oh, I was like, Karlak. Okay, cool. I was like, thank you, Karlak. I don't know why we all failed, but somehow we all failed. So then I was like, wait, I'm just gonna disarm this. I accidentally checked Clementis. So what I was trying to do was separate myself from the party so I don't get no one injured. And then it said, I don't have any disarming kits. And I was like, damn it. So I was trying to, like, you know, turn on the fires, but then I realized they wouldn't work. So I was like, fudge, I gotta go back to camp. So hold on, guys. Okay, I have Astarion now in the party. So I'm like, all right, Astarion, I need you to do this, but I had Will cast guidance on him because I got rid of Shadowheart. And I'm like, yes, guidance. All right, Astarion, go disarm this. And I'm like, wait, why is it not highlighting the floor? And then it's so funny because you see the word click, and I'm like, oh, weird. So I was like, okay, disarm the thing, please. And then look at all that. Like, he's happy and everything. So I got a 15. I was like, yes, honey, I crushed that shit. And you know what? Even though my character can pick locks and disarm, I think Astarion might be better at it than him because his rolls seem to be higher. And then I said another perception check failed. I said, this must be another trap or something I don't see. So after Clementis, I got a 1. When I saw, I'm like, oh, 1, really? But luckily, I have quite a few thieves tools, so I'm like, I didn't really care too much. So I was like, all right, not another 1, please. And I got another 1. I was like, really? So I'm like, please, I do not want to burn through all of this shit. So I'm like, come on now, be fair. And I'm like, okay, cool. And 18. So I was like, Jesus. I couldn't believe it. Okay, now, when I opened the door, I saw the book, and I was like, oh. So I was like, I thought he had Mage Hand, but he's not an arcane trickster. I have him as an assassin. So I was like, wait, who has, and then I'm like, oh, maybe Clementis has Mage Hand. Clementis does not have Mage Hand. And I'm like, well, I'm not going in there to get that book. How do I solve this problem? And then I said, wait, Will has like this vine thing you can use, like a whip. So I'm like, will it work? Can I use this ability?
There are traps about.
And I said, I'm glad I'm not going in there. So let me just use this thorn whip. I'm like, will it work? Will it work? And it worked. I was like, oh! I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, I'm gonna use it again. So I didn't want anyone to go in there and accidentally get hit by fire. So I used the thorn whip again. Oh, not on Astarion, please. On the book. So, and it worked. I'm like, yes. But I used Astarion to pick up this book. And I said, Evil Dead reference anybody when you pick up the book?
The book is locked tight with no visible keyhole. Only an oval recess in the cover's mouth.
Astarion is so pretty. Like, he's just a beautiful creature.
You try to examine the book, but the longer you stare, the more those piercing amethyst eyes draw you in. You feel the darkness radiating from the book. It's delicious.
Please don't open the creepy book.
We surely shouldn't leave such a threat out, where anyone could stumble across it.
This is true. Now, I put the book away because apparently you find some kind of gem to open it. So I let him hold the book. I said, I'm gonna let him hold the book. And I think, you know, I was like, yeah, let me avoid that trap and let's just get the hell out of here. Because I think I got most of everything except for in this little room right here. Again, you know, everything must be lit. And I'm like, oh, wait, what's this? So I'm just going to speed past this because it's just more of me picking up shit. So that I'm just going to move past this so we can get out of here faster. Okay, so I think I got everything. I just pulled this lever. I didn't know what to expect when I was on the other side of the door. So I was trying to get ready for a fight if I needed it. And then I was like, oh. I was like, wait, this is where we were. So I was like, oh, we're back at the laboratory. Then I was like, okay, let me go to camp real quick. You know, because I was going to drop everything off. So I was just so shocked that I was there. I was like, how weird. So I quick saved, of course. And then I think I go to camp. Yeah, I think I go to camp. Yeah, so I was going to sell it. And then I was like, oh my God, what is this new camp area? This game has so many different cool camp areas. And I'm like, oh, this is so dope. So I was like, wait, where is everybody? So I see Gale and Karlach, I see Will, but I didn't know where no one was. But, you know, I'm like, when I'll explore this later. So basically, I think this is going to be the end of the video, because yeah, this is the end of the episode. If you guys enjoyed this episode, please be sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember to live, think, and dream big, and choose love over fear. And in the future episodes, I will make damn sure my microphone is working so I don't have to go through this again. And enjoy this music as I play out. And look, Gale approves. I think Gale oh, I failed my performance check. Oh, and Shadowheart approves. So interesting. Well, yeah, I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye.